He got a promotion. I celebrated him, threw a party, toasted his success. Later that night, I opened his laptop to upload our photos and found a chat thread named Escape Plan. She wrote, "Once the bonus hits, we ghost her." I stayed up all night, and by morning, every account in his name was, "I'm 34. Been with him for almost 8 years. We met through mutual friends back when I lived in Charlotte. I had just left a long relationship, and he came in like some breath of fresh air. He was charming, loud, the kind of guy who always took up space. He made people laugh. He could talk his way out of anything. Looking back, I should have seen that as a red flag. But I didn't. I thought it made him strong, confident. When we moved to Raleigh together, he said it was our fresh start. We rented a little 2-bedroom just outside of downtown. I decorated the whole place myself. My name was on the lease. My credit score got us approved. He didn't care about stuff like that. "You're better with that stuff," he'd say. For years, I supported him through job changes, layoffs, his consulting phase, which was just a nice way of saying unemployed. I paid the bills when he couldn't. I put groceries on my card when his was maxed out. Then, about 6 months ago, he finally landed a solid job in sales. Big company, decent base pay and commission. I was genuinely happy for him. He started dressing nicer, staying out later, taking more work trips. I'd ask questions, and he'd wave them off. "You worry too much. I'm doing this for us." A few times, I caught him texting late, laughing at stuff he wouldn't show me. I asked once, "Who are you talking to?" He rolled his eyes and said it was a coworker. "You always do this," he said. "You don't trust me?" I started doubting myself. I felt like I was becoming paranoid, like I was the problem. Then he got the promotion. Regional sales director. Came with a $12,000 bonus and a $15,000 pay bump. He came home that day beaming. Said we should throw a party. I planned everything. I cleaned the house top to bottom. Cooked for 12 people. Made a slideshow of our years together. I even included that photo of us from that beach trip to Nag's Head, where he said he could see himself proposing. The night of the party, he couldn't keep his hands off me in front of people. Hugging me, toasting me, thanking me. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple. I started to believe it again. After everyone left, he said he was tired. Went to bed. I stayed up. I had pictures on my phone I wanted to upload to the shared folder on his laptop. That's when everything changed. His laptop was open. The browser was still running. I didn't even have to search. The chat thread was right there in front of me. Escape plan. 2 people. Him and someone named Kira G. At first, I thought it was a work thing. But the first message I saw from her said, "Once the bonus hits, we ghost her." I stared at it. I didn't move. I felt sick. Then he responded, "She's got no clue. Party tonight, Ella. Kira, don't slip. You always act guilty after sex. Just a couple more days." Him. "After this weekend, it's me and you." Finally. I sat there shaking. I read every single message. They were mocking me, joking about my speech, saying I always cry when I'm being sentimental. Kira wrote, "Let her cook and clean and make her little speech. Then we're out." He replied, "She's basically my assistant at this point. I'll let her pack my suitcase for the trip." I don't even know how long I sat there. I went numb. Then something in me snapped. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I didn't wake him up and scream. I got up, opened my laptop, and got to work. First, I logged into our joint savings. His bonus had already hit. I transferred every cent to a new personal account I'd opened under my name. I had a gut feeling about 2 weeks ago and quietly set it up. Next, I logged into all the shared bills, utilities, internet, rent, and took his name off everything. Changed every password, every recovery email, every access code. Then I opened the files. All his reports. Here's the part he never told anyone. I wrote most of them. He gave me raw spreadsheets and notes. I turned them into full reports. I did the formatting, the tone, the presentations. I made copies of all the drafts. Saved the metadata. I typed up a resignation email from his company address. Said he was leaving the position due to personal reasons. Then I forwarded it to HR. I added the chat thread between him and Kira. Then I packed. Not just a bag. Everything. All my belongings, all my clothes, furniture that was mine before him, my TV, my files, my tools, even the dog's stuff. He never walked her anyway. By sunrise, I was gone. Around 6 a.m., he called. I didn't answer. He left one message. What the hell did you do? Did you take the money? Are you serious right now? I deleted it. By 10 a.m., I got a message from Kira. You're crazy. What did you do? I blocked her. Later that day, I checked his company's website. His name was removed. A week later, I heard from a mutual friend that they revoked the promotion. Something about code of conduct. I never told them what I did next, because I wasn't done. It didn't take long for the second storm to hit. 3 days after I left, I got a call from my old landlord. He said my ex had trashed the place. Said he was yelling, breaking things, accusing the neighbors of stealing from him. He'd come home that Sunday night to a nearly empty house. No money, no job, no furniture except for the ugly black recliner he brought in from his bachelor days. The landlord told me he'd try to hold me responsible for the damage since I was on the lease too. I told him flat out I had proof of when I moved out, photos, and a written notice I slid under the office door before leaving. That shut that down. But that's when things got messy, eh? He started showing up where I used to go. The gym. The grocery store. Even the coffee shop I liked downtown. A friend texted me, "Hey, I just saw him at Yellow Mug." He looked pissed. Left as soon as he saw I noticed him.
He was looking for me.
Probably trying to act like a victim. I stayed gone. Moved into a short-term rental under a friend's name. I cut off everything, blocked numbers, deleted social media. But it wasn't over. Not even close. A week later, I got a message from my old work email. I hadn't used it in months, but I still had access. There was a strange email forwarded from someone I didn't know. The subject line just said, "You might want to see this." It was a screenshot from a Facebook group for entrepreneurs in Raleigh. And there he was, my ex. Posting a long, dramatic message about how his longtime girlfriend robbed him, stole his promotion, and vanished with his money. He made himself sound like the victim. Said I was mentally unstable, that I had a history of emotional manipulation. Claimed I hacked his laptop. Even said I blackmailed his company. And people were commenting.
Supporting him.
Saying things like, "Wow, you dodged a bullet. She sounds like a narcissist. Glad you're free, King." It made my blood boil. But what made me stop and read it twice was this part. And even after she drained my accounts, I never reported her. Because deep down, I loved her. That's when I knew what he was doing. He wasn't just angry. I think he was trying to bait me into reacting. He wanted me to respond publicly. To mess up. To look guilty. I didn't. But I wasn't going to stay quiet either. Instead of going online, I printed everything. Every screenshot. Every message. The full chat log between him and Kira. His messages mocking me. Her calling me dead weight. His confession about ghosting me. I put it all in a neat folder and dropped it off at his company's headquarters. Not anonymously either. I wrote my name on the front.
Why?
Because I had just learned something from a source I trusted. His company hadn't fully revoked the promotion. They just paused, it pending investigation. He'd been telling people it was still on track. That they were working through some drama, but he was still next in line. He thought he could talk his way out of it. Again. I wasn't going to let that happen. 2 days later, a friend of mine in HR at a different branch called me. She said word had gotten around. Not only was the promotion now fully canceled, but they were opening a misconduct file on him. There was talk about firing him outright. Turns out, he had used his work laptop to send those private messages. The escape plan chat? Yeah, it was tied to his company email. But here's the twist. Kira worked there too. She wasn't just some random side piece. She was his coworker. And worse, she was married. I didn't know that part until later. But once I did, I had to make a choice. Was I going to involve her husband? At first, I told myself it wasn't my problem. I had already gone through enough. But then I remembered what she said in that chat. Let her cook and clean and make her little speech. Then we're out. I printed the chat logs again, highlighted the parts that showed the affair. Then I found her husband.
He was easy to find.
Public Facebook photos. Same last name. Same house address. A family picture from a barbecue 4 months ago. I sent the folder to him. No note. No return address. Just the truth. I don't know what happened between them after that. I didn't need to. But I do know this. One night, around 11 p.m., I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring. Voicemail came through. It was her.
Kira.
Her voice was shaking. She whispered, "Why would you do this to me?" Then silence. I didn't reply. I deleted the message. And I went to sleep. But something still didn't sit right. I had taken back my life. Crushed his little plan. Made sure they both lost what they tried to steal. But I still had one more card to play. He had always bragged about being untouchable. Said nobody could ever bring him down. Said I was just lucky to be with him. It was time to show him what unlucky really looked like. A month passed. Things got quiet. Too quiet. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. I thought maybe he'd give up, leave town, or at least find a new target to manipulate. But he didn't. Instead, I started getting calls from unknown numbers again.
Hang up.
Silent voicemails. Texts that just said things like, "You really think this is over? You have no idea what you've started." Always from new numbers. I blocked each one. Then one night, I came home and found a manila envelope taped to the door of my short-term rental. No return address.
No handwriting.
Just a USB drive inside. I stared at it for a full 10 minutes before touching it. I wanted to throw it in the trash. But curiosity got the better of me. I plugged it into an old laptop I hadn't used in years, just in case it had something nasty on it. There was only one file. Insurance policy, MOV, it was a video. Black screen at first, then grainy footage, clearly taken on a phone. It showed me, from behind, at a gas station. Pumping gas. Then a cut. Me again, walking into a grocery store. Cut again. Me, 2 weeks ago, getting into my car, outside my new rental. My heart dropped. Someone was watching me. At the end of the video, his voice, came through clear as day. "I always said you were smart, but you forgot who taught you the game." Then static. I felt like the air got sucked out of the room. I called the cops that night, but all they said was that there was no direct threat, so there wasn't much they could do. They made a note of it. Told me to call if he came near me in person. He hadn't. Not yet. But now I knew. He wasn't finished. I started digging. Quietly. I still had access to some of his old accounts. He was sloppy with cleanup. One of them was an old Dropbox he used to store resumes and documents. He forgot I helped him set it up. And that's where I found the real twist. Hidden in a folder labeled budget_2021, there were 3 scan forms, mortgage pre-approval paperwork, tax returns, and a lease application. All in his name and mine. Only one problem, I never signed them. I opened the lease form. My signature was at the bottom. Looked perfect. Same curl on the M, same little flick on the R. But it wasn't mine. He'd forged my name. Then it hit me he was trying to trap me. He must have planned to use those forms after ghosting me, maybe to leave me stuck in some financial mess. Or worse, maybe he was still planning to use them. That bonus money? It could have been part of some larger setup. He talked once about moving to Florida. Said we could start over in Tampa or Sarasota. But now I realized, he meant him and Kira. And he planned to take my identity along for the ride. That's when I got serious. I called a lawyer. I told her everything. The fraud. The forged documents. The threats. I sent her the video, the lease forms, the photos. She didn't even blink. She said, "He's reckless. Narcissists always get messy. We can nail him." So we filed a police report for stalking and digital harassment. She also helped me submit a fraud claim with the leasing company and the IRS, just in case he tried to use my info again. But that wasn't enough. I needed something else.
Something permanent.
That's when the second twist came. Turns out while I was being watched, he was being watched too. The husband of Kira? The one I sent the folder to? Yeah, well, he was a private investigator.
No joke.
Apparently, Kira had cheated before. He suspected her again, but didn't have proof. Until my package arrived. That man tracked me down, not to threaten me, but to thank me. His name's Wes. We met in a public spot. He showed me his license, gave me his card. Said if I ever needed help, I could call him. Said guys like your ex don't just disappear. They escalate. He offered to look into some things for me free of charge. I gave him the USB, the Dropbox, the phone numbers, everything. And what he found made my skin crawl. My ex had made 2 more fake lease applications with different names, different cities, different women. Same forged cosigner, me. Wes said it looked like he was running a scam. Pretending to move in with women, then taking out leases or credit in their names, then skipping town. He had done it before.
Twice.
Charges were dropped both times due to lack of evidence. Now it all made sense. I wasn't the only one. Wes said, if we catch him one more time, with hard proof, he's finished. So that's what we're doing. We're building the case. I'm not just waiting around anymore. Because this time, when I hit back, it won't just be revenge. It'll be justice. Wes wasn't just good, he was surgical. Within a week, he had tracked down 2 of my ex's previous girlfriends. One in Savannah, Georgia. Another in Asheville. Both of them had stories just like mine. Love bombing. Fast commitment. Then money stuff. Forged papers. Credit cards in their names. And poof. He disappeared right before things fell apart. One of them had filed a police report years ago. It went nowhere. The other just wanted to forget. But now they were willing to talk. Wes set up a group call. All of us. One by one, we told our stories. We compared notes. He used that to build a complete timeline. All the aliases my ex had used. The fake jobs. The fake addresses. It wasn't just sleazy anymore. It was criminal. We didn't go to the police. We went to the press first. Wes knew a local reporter who worked for WRAL in Raleigh. We gave her the whole story, documents, screenshots, voice recordings, everything. She was stunned. She ran a segment on romantic scammers in the Triangle. Blurred our faces, but not his. His full name. His mugshot from a 2016 bar fight. Even showed parts of the escape plan chat. Then she ended the piece with this line. If you or someone you know has been involved with Martin Lee Grayson, authorities are asking you to come forward. That same night, it exploded online. Someone posted the clip to Reddit. Then Twitter. Then TikTok. People started sharing their own stories. Bartenders, ex-coworkers, even a college roommate. Apparently, he'd been lying and using people since he was 19. Then we got lucky. One of the women who saw the story was his current target, a woman in Florida. She'd just gotten him a job referral. They were planning to move in together next month. She had just co-signed a lease. She dumped him immediately. Froze the lease. Reported the forged paperwork. She even forwarded us a message he sent her last week. I've had bad luck with women. They either get too attached or too nosy. You're different. No, she wasn't. Now we had everything. Multiple victims. A clear pattern.
Forgery.
Identity theft. Intent to defraud. Wes handed the full case file to a federal agent he knew from a fraud task force. Within days, they issued a warrant. But here's the best part. They didn't just arrest him at home.
No.
They waited until he was in the middle of a networking event at a fancy hotel bar in Charlotte. Dressed in a blazer. Flashing his fake charm. Handing out fake business cards.
They walked in. Called his name.
He turned around, smirking. Until he saw the badge. They cuffed him in front of everyone. The reporter got the whole thing on video. The charges? Wire fraud, identity theft, forgery, stalking, credit card fraud, conspiracy. To commit fraud, turns out he had over $80,000 in open credit cards under 3 fake cosigners, including me. He tried to talk his way out of it. Claimed it was all a misunderstanding. Blamed bitter exes. Didn't work this time. Wes made sure of that. The press kept pushing. Victims kept stepping forward. By the time he went to trial, 12 women had filed reports. He pled not guilty. But the jury didn't care. They found him guilty on all counts. He got 12 years in federal prison. No parole for the first 8. And Kira? Her company fired her quietly 2 weeks after the chat logs went public. Apparently, she had lied on her employment forms about the affair. They didn't want a scandal. She moved back in with her parents in Virginia. Her husband filed for divorce and took full custody of their son. She tried to contact me twice. The second time, she sent me a handwritten letter. I didn't read it. I mailed it back. Shredded. And me? I took time to reflect on how I let it get that far. How I ignored the red flags. How I trusted someone who gave me so many reasons not to. I got therapy. I paid off the last of the joint debt with the bonus money he tried to steal. Then I used the rest to start over. A new apartment. A new job, legal assistant, working on domestic abuse cases. Because I've seen how bad it can get. I lived it. And now I help other women avoid men like him. Sometimes people ask me if I regret anything. The short answer? Yes. I regret not waking up sooner. But the long answer?
No.
Because in the end, he tried to leave me with nothing. And I made sure he left with less. He had an escape plan. But I had a finish line. And I crossed it without looking back.